Today we have Laruen Mathews from Jupiter, Florida. Laruen has over 15 years of business and leadership experience and credits her skill set to the entrepreneurial background of her family. On this episode, Laruen takes us through how she started in real estate and what some of her goals are for this year and in the future. Let's get started. All right, Laruen, thanks for hopping up the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. Let's just hop right into it. Let's just go ahead and introduce yourself.
For sure. So I'm Laruen Mathews. I'm an agent with Douglas Elliman Real Estate with over $42 billion in sales with our agents last year. And it's an amazing company to work for. I'm from upstate New York originally. Been in the business for about 10 years. So.
Oh, nice. So we were talking off camera where you grew up about an hour down the thruway. I'm in Syracuse. You grew up in Rochester,
yes,
which is
cold,
kind of fun.
I shouldn't say that, but yes, there's a lot more to do down here.
You could say it.
I just not a personal fan of cold weather. I was always the first kid to be in the car drinking hot cocoa when all the other kids were like out sledding, and I was the first one in the car. So glad I made my way down here and was exposed to it from my childhood.
I'm with you. So, so you've been in real estate for 10 years, you said, right? Mm-hmm. How did you get into real estate?
So I came from the hospitality business, and I thought it would be a pretty easy transition from that space because so much of my business now is servicing your client, right? So it ended up working out. I managed restaurants, did pretty much every job you can think of in the restaurants, hotels, all that stuff. So I just took those skills and brought it over to real estate, and all my clients get, the best service all around.
Nice. So coming from upstate New York and then going down to Florida, how did you kind of break in? Because it's tough, right? You didn't really have that sphere of influence to rely on that a lot of newer agents can rely on family, friends, that kind of thing. So how did you break into, because you're in a super competitive market, right? South Florida, right? So how did you really kind of break?
So it really took me some time. It was a huge learning curve for me because I had never been in like an actual business. And when you're in real estate, you're really running your own business. So I really had a lot of stepping stones to kind of get to where I'm at today. And it took some time, but, I did everything from door knocking to, the normal stuff, the mailers. And then once I started like getting clientele, I would ask for referrals. Like as soon as I would have my first, couple clients, I would start asking, do you know anybody who wants to buy, sell? I also did something that was really interesting early on. I found a way on the MLS to see who had in Rochester a second home in Florida. So I was able to basically locate those through tax records and then mail out to them saying, hey, I'm Laruen, do a really cool marketing piece with my picture and all that good stuff, and say I'm from your hometown, and I'd be more than happy to like represent you down here in Florida. And usually, with like minds, when you're coming from one place to another, it's like you want to work with somebody who you feel comfortable with, who you have commonality with, and you can talk and go back and forth about different places that, are common to you. So I got a lot of clients from that. So all sorts of things.
Okay. So that's interesting. So was that a trick that you picked up? Like, were you on a team, or was that just something that like popped in your head? Like, there's a bunch of people like you and I both know that everybody leaves upstate New York in like October, November, and stays down here. So is that just something?
I working in the hospitality business for a while and knowing a lot of people up in Rochester, and knowing that some of them would eventually trickle down here, or they had friends, relatives, or they did have a secondary home. That. It just popped into my head, you really have to get creative in this business because it's so competitive and there's a lot of people just doing the same thing. And it's like, what's going to make you stand out? So I've pretty much always been, well, I shouldn't say that. I was with a partner or on a team, I guess, when I first joined. I was with Berkshire Hathaway for the first couple years under an agent who had a lot of overflow. So he gave me some stuff too. But other than that, I've been pretty much on my own and really had to find different avenues and be creative on marketing. And I will say that's kind of one of my strong suits is just being creative and thinking outside the box and coming up with different things and strategies that other people just aren't thinking of. So
right. What coffee? I'm like dying.
Is it okay if I'm drinking coffee in this? Okay.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
I didn't know
for sure.
Professional or not professional. Okay.
It's fine. I got water here. My kids have been sick for the whole month, so we're just trading this. So having that like connection to Rochester, right? And people having a second home, that kind of, it's like a built-in, almost like a warm call or like a trust initially. Because like Rochester, both communities that we grew up in were pretty small. You know, Rochester's about the same size as Syracuse. So that probably made it a hell of a lot easier to make that connection initially.
Yeah, it's
right.
You know, it's a small world. Immediately when I sent that letter out with, my information and telling them a little bit of a backstory on the fact that I was from there and, I could be a trusted, guide down here and so that they would feel more comfortable. That was, I had several calls right off the bat. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned about being creative to kind of stand out, in your market. What were like some other things that you did that, maybe worked, and then maybe some things that didn't work? Like obviously door knocking.
Yeah, door knocking sucks. But we didn't approach the door knocking as like a super salesy pitch. It was more, and I did this with a partner of mine that I work on deals together with here and there. We both have our own business, but we do, team up on some stuff. But anyways, we door knocked and we, it was more like an introduction because we started farming that neighborhood. So we wanted people to, put our face to what our marketing materials were going to be sent to them. So, and we left, like, if they weren't home, we had like these, it sounds a little corny, like, but it really worked. We had these little bags of popcorn in the bag and also like this card that just said, we just popped by to give you a market report. We had a market report in there and it was cute. It was memorable. And that's the thing, like you want to be memorable. So
right.
Not only are we seeing people face to face, we're getting to talk to them about like what's going on in the neighborhood. People would just, have us in their driveway just saying, oh, well, I heard that so-and-so is looking to sell, or, you get a lot of information just from meeting people face to face. So even though it does kind of suck and it kind of feels like, the very, first, I guess, start to like the business, it's really not. Like I know people that are doing insane amount of business and they just go knock on a door and they're so confident in their business that they don't care. Like it's, money's money at the end of the day. Like who cares?
Right.
The worst thing they can say is,
right.
Slam the door in your face and then well.
Yeah. They can't take away your birthday, right? And like, and I'm sure you've noticed too, where like people love talking about real estate, whether you're at a bar, party, wherever it may be. So you're going to catch those people that want to have those conversations and can see the upside up.
For sure. Yeah, we ended up hosting an event for the neighborhood too. And then speaking back to the creativity, just something that didn't work for us. We also farmed another neighborhood and we went to all these different businesses and got the approval to give discounts at all of these different places. So we made like this kind of VIP card for the neighborhood and said, hey, if you use, and I had all of our information on it. So we were like, okay, this is going to work out great. But we had a really terrible process with the printer and it like the people who were printing our stuff. And it kind of took the wind out of our sails. So by the time we like were able to launch, we were so burned out by the whole thing, by going to get all the discounts and all that stuff. And I don't honestly know, because we didn't get one call on that. And we were stunned because we put so much time and effort, and it was so unique and cute. And you would just think that you would get at least one call just based on numbers alone. We didn't get anything. It felt super flat. And we're still to this day wondering if they actually sent them out, because we were like battling with them on the design and just how the product came out. Like we had to go back and forth with them for a long time. So things like that, and then we were just like, you know what? We kind of like, since we didn't get a call, we should have probably continued to market. But there's things like that where, if you're getting burned out, you're like, all right, this is enough. And you have other stuff going on. So it all depends, but it's trial and error.
Yeah.
And, some things work, some things don't.
Right. And I think it's important too, like the trial and error, right? It kind of develops like a thick skin, right? Like you can't get too discouraged. The real estate's a roller coaster, right? Yeah. So you can't get too high, can't get too low. But you just have to kind of move
it on.
As confident as you were that it was going to work, you just got to find the next.
Yeah, I still think so. There's a chance they might have not sent them out. but
I'm with you. I'm gonna go with that.
We're like throwing our hands up. We're like, we're done. We're done.
Yeah. So when did you start getting into, I guess, so that was more traditional, right?
Sure.
Like door knocking, print, that kind of thing. When did you get more into the social media, using like Instagram, Facebook, to kind of...
Well, I think for me, my social media really took off during COVID, when I had really a lot of time to do nothing. And I just, had time to be creative and think of things to post. And I actually had nothing better to do at the point. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, I should be growing this. Let me turn this off. So, I took some time and just made some fun. I mean, even as silly as like TikTok dances. But, like you're doing something different and everybody's bored. Everybody was watching their phone like throughout that whole time. So that's really when I started working on it a lot more.
Right. It's like you mentioned, how to stand out when you did door knocking, you did the popcorn. That's kind of the way to stand out right on social media, is to kind of just try to do something different. What platform do you kind of, I guess, utilize the most, or do you see the most benefit from? Is it Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah. So I have a TikTok page. I really need to probably do a little bit more on that, but, I have Facebook, I have Instagram, but I see the most business from Instagram. Hands down. I've gotten so many referrals. I have, clients that reach out to me directly. So all sorts of stuff. So it's been all good on this end.
What kind of content on Instagram do you see, gets the most, I guess, traction or engagement?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I've done some research on kind of the perfect time to release content. I think that's really important. I think sometimes, if you're putting it out on, Sunday at dinner time, no one's really looking at their phone. So I think that's important to make sure.
Sunday's such a
yeah.
I said Sunday's such a weird day for me.
I mean, sometimes I say screw it and I don't worry about the rules of Instagram, but I have done some research on like good times. So I think that's important. I think it's also important to show your real personality and some real content from your daily life. I think that, that gives your page some personality. And I think branding to the clientele you want to work with is also important. So if you want to be in that luxury market, your stuff really needs to showcase either luxury, properties, whether it's, you're touring somebody else's listing because you're not quite there yet, have that luxury material behind you as your platform, and also make sure you're having professional photos done, or you're at least getting a good camera. Sometimes I've gone out with some friends and just done a content day with, I have a Sony camera. It's a, $500 camera, but it still takes really, really good pictures. And we'll take those and, edit them a little bit and throw them up on the page, and you can really get some nice content. So branding is important, and I think that speaks volumes to the clientele you want to bring in, and then just, the stuff that you like, I love food. I'm always posting food. I'm a big fan of food porn. I love it. Exactly.
Yep.
And I think other people like food. So you want to have some common other interest outside of real estate. Real estate gets boring after a while. Not everybody wants to see 24/7 content with, houses, unless they're as involved in real estate as you are, but chances are they're not. So
yeah. They want your page to be humanized, right?
Yeah.
They want to see what your person, who's the person that they're going to work with. And on top of that, I think the luxury market, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the luxury market, people want to, yes, they want to have a beautiful house and everything, but they also want to get an understanding of the culture that they're going to live in,
For sure.
areas like the restaurants they're going to be going to. So it's showcasing the area, not just
Correct.
a house. It's
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So do you do a lot of that? Where if, let's say you're showing a house in, let's say Jupiter, Florida, right? Are you showcasing, if it's a client who's maybe single, right? Single or bachelor, you're showcasing, different restaurants, bars, maybe the nightlife that's in Jupiter, versus if it was a family, you're showcasing more of playgrounds, that kind of stuff.
Directly to them or just on my page specifically?
Either or.
Absolutely. If I take a client on and I know that they're buying and they're maybe from out of the area, I'm definitely letting them know all the hottest and greatest places to go, how close they are to the beach, all of the, the selling points of that community. And I can usually, guide them into a community that I think will fit their lifestyle. So I have a real conversation with my clients about what it is they want to achieve when they buy something down here in South Florida, what's important to them. And I think that's one of the first conversations you need to have. That way, if they're not sure where they want to be, you can kind of gauge exactly what type of person you're dealing with and where they want to be.
Right.
So that.
Do you take that too as you're kind of interviewing to see if you're a good fit for them as well? Is it kind of both sides where or do you kind of just we're working together, this is kind of where I think we should.
Yeah, I mean, unless I see a major red flag off the jump, I don't turn down a lot of business. I've dealt with a ton of different personalities, and I think that you have to be kind of moldable in this business. And fortunately, I have attracted a lot of really great clients, and I think again, I'm a huge believer in the law of attraction. What you're putting out there is what you're going to get. So I attract a lot of really cool, down to earth people. And I don't know what your question was. Basically, am I a good fit for them?
Yeah, are you?
Yeah,
then is it vice versa?
First, there's obvious those questions that you want to see what their timeline is, because if their timeline is of course, a couple of months from now, you're going to focus a lot of energy onto that client, things like that. And are they qualified? Do we need to get them to the qualification? There's always those conversations right in the beginning too. But as far as me interviewing them, if they're a good fit for me, I don't really turn a lot of business down unless there's a huge red flag and I'm let's place you with somebody that's going to be a better fit. But it doesn't happen often with me, because I tend to attract clients that are great people, and they a lot of times from referrals. If a client is already great, they're going to refer me a client that they're friends with that probably has a similar personality to them if they're friends. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So do you focus more on that educational type of content?
Sometimes. I definitely think it's important to do value add content here and there, but again, you don't want to have, I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you do want to have all value add. That's 100% your choice. But I like to mix it up. So when you go on my page, you'll see all sorts of different sides of me. You'll see like my interests. You'll see, great real estate. You'll see my production. You'll see value add, and you'll see people that wrote a great recommendation or review on me. All sorts of stuff that is going to mix it up. I think mixing it up is so important. So
Yep. Showcase your personality, who you
a little bit of everything.
Nice. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you use any scripting?
I don't. You know what I did? I did do one video. I'm working on my website right now, brand new website that'll be up in a couple weeks, hopefully. But we did do like a quote unquote hero video, and that's basically is going to talk about like who I am and encompass kind of all the things that I'm talking about, what my clients are saying about me,
Nice.
What kind of client I cater to, about me and my personal things that I like, things that I think are important for a client to know about me. And we did do a scripted version of that, and I hated it. So I said, I'm not really
like right off,
because it really has to be more of a conversation I'm having to the person on the other side. I think storytelling does a lot better than me being a robot and just reading off a screen. So, I gave the camera guy kind of put the ball in his court, let him do what he wanted to do. And then at the end of the day, I just didn't feel like it was authentic enough. So we're going to reshoot that. So to answer your question, I've done scripted, don't personally love it. But some people, when they get in front of the camera, they really freeze up. So I get if you have to use it, you have to use it, or if you can't remember everything. But my rule of thumb is if you can like think about it the night before and kind of write some of your stuff out, it really like sticks. And then the next day it comes out a lot easier. It's in your brain. So even if it doesn't come out exactly like you had it on paper, it's fresh in your mind, and you can kind of,
it's more organic, right? You can showcase your personality and do that because, the biggest thing I think on social media is being your true self and being organic, because I think people can see through the bullshit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it's the best way to go about it too. Do you use a content calendar at all?
No, I probably should, but I don't. I just kind of know what I usually try to do 2 posts a week. Plus I do most days I do content through stories. So because I don't like to overdo it, but you do have to be on enough. So and I sometimes it's crazy, like it's hard to fit everything in, when you're running your own business. It's like I don't have an assistant right now, which that's in the plan for summer. But no, I don't have a content calendar. I just plan to post 2 times a week and do stories, almost every day. So
okay. Do you try and time block like when you're gonna do that, or is it just kind of like, oh, I
usually do Tuesdays. I think Tuesdays are a good day. Tuesdays at afternoon, and Thursdays. Those are my 2 go-to days. It gives you 1 day in between, so people aren't like seeing your content back to back. Gives them a chance to comment, like, message on one photo. You give them a day, and then you're on to the next one. And then they have, I think Mondays are tough because everybody's getting back in the swing of work, and they're tying up loose ends from the weekend, and then on Fridays, it's like, okay, we're getting ready for the weekend. So we're not really paying attention to anything else. So, yeah.
Yep. So how do I want to ask this? Do you, if you spend some time, you've kind of like honed in on what days and times are best for you, right? Do you do any kind of like paid marketing on top of that?
I really kind of stay away from that. Because I've had so many. I mean, I've had thousands of inboxes to pay for more followers, or like, I don't need the clout of having so many followers per se. Like, I want real people that are actually interested in my business. So I want to grow them organically. I think buying fake followers, I can spot that in like a heartbeat. It's just, and it's not gaining you anything. Like you just paying for followers. It's you really have to engage with your clients, or you're not going to get anything out of it. So
Yeah.
I'm
I'm with you. I'd rather have 900 engaged followers than having the clout, quote unquote, of 10,000 just like not engaged. And,
exactly. Yep.
So you mentioned you wanted to bring on an assistant this summer. What are some of your goals for this year?
Well, I have my biggest weakness is probably being able to delegate, because I'm a super control freak on how I like things. But I'm just, the only way to grow is to expand, and it's just something that I need to do. I have partners that I rely on certain stuff, which was totally fine. If I can't handle something just because it's either out of the area or whatever reason, I need somebody's help on something, because I want the client to really have full service. If say a listing's out of my area, I want to make sure I'm listing with another agent who knows that area and who can be there, for every showing. So, I'll partner up with certain people, but I'm just, with stuff like this, social media content calendars, all the extra things that we have to manage on a day-to-day basis as an agent, inputting listings, contracts, the contract periods, managing like how those go and how smoothly the transactions are going. All of that stuff I'm doing right now by myself, and there's no way I can be out shaking hands and kissing babies all the time if I'm at my desk. And that's what I really need to be doing, because I need to be bringing in more business. So, so it's coming this summer for sure.
Is that one of your bigger challenges, is trying to figure out, I guess, number one, who to hire, the type of person to hire, and then number two, like delegating to that person?
Yeah. Right now, so we're in super busy season in Florida here. Our season generally runs from November to, the end of April, and it's just bananas. So I think summertime, like, I'll have more time to actually sit down, and that's a challenge. I want somebody to do what I'm doing like I do it. I want my clients to still feel like, they're my only client, even though we know that's not true. I want them to feel like a priority. And so I need to have somebody who has that same strong work ethic that I have, to train and to make sure, they're doing things the way I want to do it. So this is definitely probably a challenge to find.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So your ultimate business goal, do you want to have like a big
I have
different areas of
so I already have, actually, it's funny because we're on this topic, but last week I posted an ad on Facebook, and am looking for team members. So, and because I do have a lot of spillover business that somebody needs to handle, and I'd rather have it kind of in-house if I can. So I basically threw out an ad on Facebook looking for somebody that's new to the business, driven, and who wants to learn it, and basically do some of my quote-unquote assistant work just to figure out how everything goes. And then, hit the ground running for me.
Sure. Yeah. Now, a lot of this has been, talking about like new clients, bringing in new business, and how you plan on growing, some of your for this year. What do you do for, past clients? Do you have a CRM you use? How do you kind of market to past clients? You've mentioned in the beginning that you have no problem asking for business.
Yeah.
So how do you go about?
So I have my own, I don't have a CRM, and that's probably something that you don't hear often from, successful agents, but I stay in touch with a lot of them, and I have kind of my own system with keeping in touch. I reach out, on anniversaries, birthdays, and I'm friendly with a lot of my clients. So when they're coming into town, I meet with them and have coffee. I'm big on relationships, and I just click with a lot of them. So we stay in touch on all like social media and all sorts of stuff like that. I invite them to events. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So, wow. So there's no, is there a CRM that you maybe want that one of your goals?
Was my thing. Yeah. Like that's coming in the future. And I feel terrible like for saying that I don't have a CRM per se, but I do have kind of like my own system working that works for me right now, just to stay in front of clients and keep in touch with them and all that stuff. So
sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, all right. So we're coming up here on the end here, and these are the 3 questions I ask everybody, right, that comes on. So the first one, what's one book or podcast you think everybody who is looking to grow their business in real estate should either read or listen to?
So can I say it's not a podcast, it's not a book, but it's actually an app. Could I say an app?
Yeah, for sure.
So I bought into the Masterclass app probably 6 months ago. And the Masterclass app, I should be getting paid for this, but the Masterclass app is it's all people, celebrities, the people that are at the top of their game in their field. So there is so much on there. There is sales training. There's real estate training. There is the sales training has been phenomenal for me. There's branding training from, it's really, really, really cool. And there's entrepreneurial, like there's Richard Branson's on there, and he's talking about his attitude and his, philosophy on life. And, it's really incredible to take a piece of all of these people who've just landed the plane and know what they're doing and are at the top of their game, and take little fragments of all these people. It's been an awesome platform for me. I've learned.
Yeah. So have you implemented some of that in your business?
Absolutely. And like just the sales classes alone have really helped me. They have negotiation classes, like they have everything. They have interior design classes. So like all of those little elements can help you succeed in this business or any other business for that matter. So it's really cool. I highly recommend it. It's not expensive. You buy the subscription for the entire year, and they're constantly adding new people into the mix, and you get like, I'll be on a walk and I'll listen to the whole thing, or in the car, and just,
cool.
And some of them have like handout material that you can download and print and actually like write notes and all that stuff. So it's a really interesting platform, and it's done great things for me and my business.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You should be on paid for after that. That was a hell of a plug.
Don't you want to go buy it now?
Yeah, kinda.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure. I've seen like ads on Instagram.
I know, but if you go check it out, like it's very interesting, and the people on there are really like they're phenomenal.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. All right, so next one, what should everyone who is in real estate either stop doing or start doing?
Definitely stop being a perfectionist, because that got in my way early on in my career. And, I'm also, for me, I tend to, this business is, you're going to get hit with so many different angles on how to market yourself. You really have to hone in on like what works for you, instead of like trying a little here, a little there. You can in the very beginning, but I would say like once you figure out what you're good at, stick to that and like put all of your time into that. Because when you're running around in circles trying to figure out, or like putting your money here and putting your money there, you can't be committed to one thing. And I think, staying consistent in one thing is really gonna, bring you the business that you need, instead of getting caught up on all different things. So
yeah, it's hard to be
exactly. And it's just perfectionism, like get out of your own way. Even if it's not exactly how you want it to be yet, like you can fix it along the way. Just get it out there, whatever it is, whether it be the mailing, whether it be the video, like if you're just learning how to do content, like just get it out there and just make it better as you go, keep getting better. But you have to learn somewhere, you have to start somewhere. So my biggest thing was like being a perfectionist and getting in my own way. And I just had to say, hey, it's good like this. And some of the stuff I look back at and I'm like, I'm cringing, but it got me to here. Like it got me here. You start somewhere. So
yep. Done's definitely better than perfect. Right. That was always hard for me too. Like my first videos were terrible.
Yeah.
Like super cringy. But like my voice is my voice. I hate the sound of my voice when I hear like it back. Oh yeah, I can't stand it. I just like that. That's what I sound like. No way.
That's Syracuse
and like
accent.
the everyone says I have an accent, but yeah. The camera's like right in my face like this, and it's just you get better. Like you said, you get better as you go along.
Yeah.
Right. Done's better than perfect, and just kind of keep going through, pushing through it, and you'll get there.
100%.
All right, and then the last one. Where can everybody find you online?
Well, my website's coming, so that'll be on my Instagram page. But my Instagram account is at Laruen, Lauren, Nicole, Nicole, real estate, and that's spelled RealEstate. Lauren Nicole Real Estate.
There you go.
I can spell.
Perfect. When's your website gonna?
I'm hoping within the next couple weeks. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm working on tweaking the design work, and it's really going to cater a lot to new development because I've kind of made my way into the new development space. So it'll be still your normal everyday buying and selling regular real estate, but it's also going to cater to the new development here in Palm Beach County, and then the developments that I represent, and also I am building a team that's going to basically take the development process when it comes to architecture, when it comes to design, when it comes to marketing. Our team will basically help that development get launched. So
cool.
So yeah, so it's interesting. I have a lot of really cool upcoming stuff, and it's growing, and it'll probably start all working together this summer when I have a little bit more free time. But for next season, it's gonna be crazy. So yeah, absolutely. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely. So I appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me and letting me share.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.